Yeah, morning everyone. So myself, I'm Vijay. I hold 13 plus years of experience, which includes 6 plus years of experience in big data environment like big data Hadoop and Spark. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether my screen is visible or not? So can anyone please
Yes,
type in? Yeah,
yes, sir. Good
fine,
morning. So this is Rahul. Even we can see your screen and we can hear you proper.
fine. Thank you.
Thank
So yeah, so as part of today's demo, just I'm going to cover this. What is big data and how data is getting generated, and what are the various data sources and types, and big data characteristics, big data tools, big data challenges, big data applications, and why Hadoop. Already we have got many technologies in the market. Why again going for Hadoop? Drawbacks of the current databases in the market, Hadoop advantages, Hadoop architecture, like basic. I'm going to discuss that as of today, and Hadoop ecosystem tools, and Hadoop trends and job market. So what
Okay,
is
sir.
big data? Yeah.
Uh, Sorry to interrupt you, sir. So, will
Yes.
you tell what prerequisite required for this in short?
Yeah. I'll discuss that. I'll discuss at the
Okay.
end of the session. Fine.
Okay, sure, sure. Thank you.
Fine. So what is big data? If you observe today how data is getting generated, data in bytes, KBs, MBs of data, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, eptabytes, zettabytes. In this way, data is getting generated. You should have seen KBs of data, MBs of data, GBs of data, terabytes of data. You should have come across terabytes of data. But do you think like petabytes of data or exabytes of data is it getting generated in the current real world? So if terabytes or petabytes of data is it getting generated, examples of terabytes or petabytes of data generation. Okay, so currently how the data is getting generated, like KB, MB, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, etabytes, so on. So from TB onwards we say it as big data, huge data generation. So like I was just asking, like KBs or MBs or GBs or TBs of data, but do you think like petabytes of data or exabytes of data generation? So examples of petabytes of data generation. So if you take the example of a social media like Facebook, millions and trillions of users throughout the world. So in a minute, how many posts and videos are getting circulated, and each and every post and video need to be stored. So what is the data generation of Facebook in a minute? Huge data, not in KBs or MBs of data. You can see in GBs or petabytes of data generation. Not only like Facebook. Today, if you take example of any application generating data in petabytes. For example, if we are taking 1 minute of data generation, if you're taking like 1 minute of data generation, for example, 1 minute, in a minute, how many FB posts, and what is the data generated by it? Not in KBs or MBs. You can see in petabytes of data generation. And if it is Twitter tweets, huge data generation. Take Google queries, huge data generation. And today everyone creating their own videos and uploading in that YouTube. So here also you can see like huge data generation. YouTube videos upload, YouTube, and millions and trillions of users using this email or Gmail messages, huge data generation. Or if you take example of bank transactions. Bank transaction means if you take any bank like SBI or HDFC or ICICI, within the city you will see hundreds of branches for that. Within the state you see thousands of branches, and within the entire country lakhs of branches for that particular bank, and each bank making is got lakhs of customers, each customer making multiple transactions per hour, per day, per week, per month. So huge transactions, you see huge data getting generated. Similarly, like telecom transactions, you can see like telecom transactions. And if you see like Amazon or if you see like e-commerce websites like Flipkart or Amazon, huge data it is generating. E-commerce. So everywhere if you take any application generating huge data, Facebook on an average generating more than 350 petabytes per month on an average, generating more than 350 petabytes per month on an average. Google generating more than 450 petabytes per month on an average, I'm saying. So like 450 petabytes means 1 petabyte equal to 1024 TBs. 450 petabytes, 450 into 1024 TBs. That is what the data generation. So day by day as data is getting increasing, we need to have proper storage and proper processing systems to store this data and to process this data. So if you take currently we are storing data. We have databases. We have databases like Oracle, MySQL, DB2, all this, etc. All this they are used for OLTP processing, online transactional processing for day-to-day activities. They can handle GBs of data. But we have got some specialized databases. We have got specialized databases like Netezza, Teradata, Vertica. Used for data warehouse purpose. Used for what? Data warehouse purpose. For OLAP, online analytical processing, OLAP, can handle TBs of data. Okay, databases are specialized databases. They can handle GBs or TBs of data. But higher than that, like in petabytes of data or exabytes of data generations, these databases are specialized databases. They are not going to support. So currently we are going like to handle 1 petabyte of data. 1 petabyte of data, to handle 1 petabyte of data, there is no tool in the market which can handle petabytes or exabytes of data. So as a solutions to all this, we have got a framework called Hadoop, which can store huge data, unlimited data, not only storing the data, processing that huge data in quick time. I'll come back to that why Hadoop, but before that I was just saying like data generation and landscape, how the data is getting generated currently. If I take this is the data in the entire world. This is the data in the entire current real world. This is the data that is available. This data got generated from last 50 years, from 1970 to 2020. From the last 50 years, this is what the data. Fine. Compare this data from the last, see, 1970 to take like 2010 and 2010 to 2020. Last 10 years data. Last 10 years data you compare with the previous 40 years of data. If you observe, out of this 100% of data whatever generated, 40 years, only 20% of data is generated, but especially from the last 10 to 15 years, nearly 80% of the data whatever generated as generated from the last 10 to 15 years. Do you agree with this? Like whatever data generated, 80% of the data has got generated from the last 10 to 15 years. But if you take before 2000, so everything was done manually. So small data, everything like you should have got KBs or MBs of data. Even like we have got storage systems like floppy disks, CDs, where they can handle only KBs or MBs of data. Take like floppy disk. What is the size of floppy disk? 1.44 MB. Just now you are calling that USB pen drives, but previously floppy disk used to carry floppy disk. The size of floppy disk is 1.44 MB. Later you got CDs, DVDs, which can handle MBs of data. So what is the reasons for this huge data generation from the especially from the last 10 to 15 years? Because of usage of technology, because of usage of technology, because of usage of smartphones, because of usage of internet. So if you observe today, everything through net, everything through online banking, online shopping, online exams, online games. So all this, everything through online. Because of smartphones, internet, and usage of technology, data is increasing enormously. Not like in GBs or TBs, petabytes of data is getting generated. So to handle that data and to store the data and to process the data, we need to have proper storage and processing systems. Okay. So from where this data is getting generated, what are the main sources from where this data is getting generated? I can say like mainly three sources from where this data is getting generated. Mainly three sources: social data, machine data, and a transactional data. So what is that? Social data, machine data, and transaction sources. Three sources of data: social, machine, and transactional. Social data means data which got generated from social websites like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, all these things. Machine data means the data which got generated. Okay, means whenever you go to shopping malls, for the items you purchase, a bill is generated. Means the data which got generated by reading or scanning the barcodes, scanners, RFID chips, all this we call it as machine data. Transactional data, the data which got generated from day-to-day transactions like bank transactions, telecom transactions, all this transactional data. So this mainly these are the three sources from where this data is getting generated. And if it say how this in what format the data is going to occupy, what formats, what are the types of data? Types of data, the data like we have got structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. So we have got mainly these three: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. Structured data which is organized in the form of rows and columns in a structured format like Excel sheets, database tables. Semi-structured data like XML files, which is not fully structured, which is not fully unstructured, like XML files, JSON files, key value notation. Unstructured like chart messages, which is not in a structured format. Chart messages, articles, images or pics, videos, all this comes as unstructured. So this is what how the data is getting generated. And mostly like the last 10 to 15 years, you see like a huge data generation. So what are the sources of data? And the three types of data like structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. Okay. To handle this, as data is increasing enormously, we need to have proper storage and proper processing systems to handle and process this data. So as a solution to all these storage level issues and processing level issues, we have got a framework introduced called Hadoop. It's a framework. Hadoop is a framework which is meant for two things. Hadoop is meant for two things: storing huge data or unlimited data. It can accommodate unlimited data. And Hadoop is for storage, and not only for storage, it is meant for processing. Hadoop is also meant for processing. If you take any technology, either they are meant for either storage or processing. Take example like Oracle or MySQL or DB2. So all this, they are used for what? Storage. These are for storage. They cannot process. C or C++ or Java, all this, they're used for processing. So they are meant either for storage or for processing. C, C++, Java, they can process, but they cannot store the data. These are meant for storage. So, but Hadoop is meant for both storage and processing. That too for huge data storage and huge data processing in quick time. So like here I got some couple of queries. So if Hadoop is meant for storage and processing, means when Hadoop is able to store the data and process the data, what is the use of the current storage and processing technologies? Do you think that nowhere required current storage and processing technologies? Do you think when Hadoop in the market, do you think these technologies will go away from the market? So Hadoop is good for huge data. Hadoop is good for huge data or unlimited data. But Hadoop is bad for small data. For example, you have made one transaction for a single record. If you are making a single transaction, then no need to go for Hadoop. You can go for this Oracle like databases for storing it. And for processing a data like KBs of data, MBs of data, no need of Hadoop. You can go for the current processing technologies like for example, for Java, in real time you use Eclipse IDE. So to the Eclipse, what is the data you are providing? If you are providing like petabytes of data, TBs of data, petabytes of data, so it takes lot of time, or even it won't even start. For databases also, if you are handling, if you are just providing petabytes of data, so like for small data you can go with this processing and current processing and storage technologies like, but for huge data for unlimited data you can go for Hadoop. Means Hadoop is meant for batch processing. Once again, Hadoop is meant for batch processing. If databases, if we take, they're for online transactional processing, means online processing. Hadoop is for batch processing. Okay, so there are two types of applications generally. Two types of applications. Online applications. Hadoop is meant for batch applications and batch processing. It's not for online transactional processing. Two types of applications: online applications. Second is what? Batch applications. Hadoop is not for online applications, it is for batch applications. Batch of data means millions and trillions of transactions. So what do you mean by online applications and batch applications? What exactly this online and batch applications? See, for example, online applications where user interactive applications, we call it as online applications. User interactive applications or called as online applications, means where user interference is required. For example, if you want to make a transaction, user involvement required or not. For example, you want to transfer an amount of 10,000 to a friend. So you need to enter your details, your PIN number, all this user involvement required. Online application. Batch application example. For example, after booking a railway ticket, the status of your booking. So you are in the waiting list, PNR status, waiting status of nearly like 200. After 2 hours, it becomes 160. After 4 hours, evening, it becomes like 100. Tomorrow, 60, 40 it becomes. Later, finally, it got confirmed. Means here, for this PNR status, user involvement required, user interactive required? No. For this batch applications, users are no way involved. They are going to get generated. They are like background applications where no user involvement. They are going to get updated automatically. So those kind of applications we say it as batch applications. So today, like if you see that finance sector, most of the 80% of the applications are batch applications. Finance sectors like banking, insurance, trading, all these 80% of operations are background are batch applications. Examples of online applications. Examples of online applications, anyone? Like depositing money, is it online or batch? If you want to deposit some amount, is it an online application or batch application? Online application. So I want the sessions to be interactive, not like coming every way. The sessions means I want the students to interact with me. Even the coming sessions also, either through chat panel or through voice, can just give your. And here on, for example, I want to withdraw some amount, online or batch.
That could be batch.
No. You are withdrawing. You need to withdraw means you will be entering your account number, your signature
So you,
required, everything. Your involvement required or not. Without your
yes,
involvement,
sir.
can you withdraw amount? Not possible. Means
No,
user involvement
no.
required.
Yes.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, 1 second. Give me a second. Yeah. Yeah. So withdrawing amount is an online application. Generally, we go with online transactional processing. For this, we go for databases. For example, if you want to cancel, for example, a movie ticket you want to cancel. Otherwise, if you want to update or renew, for example, you want to just renew renewal of an application or renewal, like for example, you want to renew an antivirus. What kind of application it is, batch or online? 1 year subscription, still you want to extend for 1 more year.
Since as you are asking, since in all of them the user interaction is there, so that could be online application.
Online applications only. All these are canceling, updating, depositing, withdrawing. Okay. If you are making a credit card transaction, it's an online application. Examples of batch application, anyone? Examples of batch application today, if you see a lot of applications or batch applications today. Any examples of batch application? Means Hadoop is used for batch applications. Batch applications means
Weather forecasting.
millions and trillions of like for example, bank statement generation, Means for all the customers, the bank statements should be generated. Means in a bank, if you've got some 10 lakhs customers, or for all the 10 lakhs, the bank statement to be generated. Credit card bill generation means all the customers' credit card bill should be generated. For generating a credit card bill, is user involvement required?
No, sir.
Credit card bill generation, user involvement not required, nowhere required. For example, 1 lakh customers are there. For all them, automatically that credit card bill is going to get generated. Means here online application means a single transaction user involvement, but here on batch applications means millions and trillions of transactions involved. Means here you are generating credit card bill generation or bank statement generations for lakhs of customers, millions of customers. Means batch. Phone bill generation. Phone. Otherwise, what is that? Phone bill generation. What is the bill? For all these, they are batch applications. Here, user involvement nowhere required. Just now I was saying like PNR waiting status, waiting list, automatically done. Background applications, the user involvement nowhere required. Which has got more load, online or batch? Which has got more load, online application or batch application?
Batch application.
Batch applications has got more load. Means you are generating statements for all the customer. If online means one customer is involved. If you want to make an online transaction, one customer is involved, or two customers, source and destination. You are transferring customer 1 to customer 2. Batch, generating statements for all the customers. So generally we go for this. So Hadoop is meant for this batch applications. So generally, if we see today, like most of the applications, or if you say examples like Facebook, if I take examples of Facebook, LinkedIn, Yahoo, Amazon, all these top 100 e-commerce websites, they won't use databases. They won't use databases. Rather, see, even like they go for Hadoop. See, Hadoop. If you want Hadoop to perform online processing or online applications, online transactional processing, Hadoop integrating with NoSQL databases. So Hadoop performs batch processing and NoSQL perform online processing. Both combined together can perform both. So that's generally, as a Hadoop developer, you need to have the knowledge about at least one NoSQL database. Today NoSQL has got a great demand, as rather than SQL, NoSQL, not only SQL. Schemaless behavior in case of SQL, from first record to last record, same schema to be maintained, means same number of fields or columns to be maintained. But in the case of NoSQL, schemaless behavior, my first record with 3 fields, 3 columns, second record with 5 fields, third record with 7 fields, fourth record with 10 fields. Means record to record, a different number of fields can be maintained in NoSQL. So Hadoop and NoSQL both can perform both batch and online applications. Take Facebook. If you see like the social media like Facebook, like it is generating more than 3 trillion transactions per second. 3 trillion transactions per second means nearly per minute 18 trillion transactions. So here database like Oracle are not used. Means, for example, 1 lakh records are attacking Oracle server. Think that 1 lakh records are attacking Oracle server, then the server will be hanged out. So Facebook, see, like 4 years back, Facebook was generating nearly 110 TB per day. But total capacity of Oracle or lifetime capacity of Oracle is 50 TB maximum it can store. Maximum capacity or lifetime capacity of Oracle. But 110 TB per day, what Facebook is generating. So for that, generally we go for Hadoop, and NoSQLs are mostly preferred for transaction. And this NoSQL, I can say like it's going to be the next generation OLTP. Okay, so just why, so coming back, Hadoop providing 2 services, storage and processing. storing and processing that huge data in quick time. Today, like industry expecting the results in quick time, in minutes or seconds. So like, and here for storing the data, does Hadoop use any databases internally for storing? Is Hadoop using any database for storing its data? No. I'm going to list out the drawbacks of databases. Drawbacks of databases with respect to Hadoop. So despite of drawbacks of databases, Hadoop doesn't use any database for storing its data. It uses Hadoop distributed file system. Hadoop distributed file system. And for processing, does Hadoop use any processing technologies currently? No. It is going with a parallel execution model like MapReduce or like Spark. So for processing, this is what Hadoop providing two services, like it is meant for two things: huge data storage, unlimited data storage, and huge data processing. This for the storage, it uses a special kind of file system called Hadoop distributed file system, and for processing, MapReduce. Okay. Hadoop advantages. If I want to discuss like Hadoop advantages. Okay. And before that, observe these things. So every 60 seconds, how many tweets? Thousands of tweets. How many status updates? How many instant messages? How many Google searches? You can see how many emails are sent. What are that? How many TBs of data created, and how many new mobile web users you are going to see. So just now I was showing like sources and types, like mainly three sources: data sources like machine data, social data, and transactional data; types like structured, unstructured, semi-structured. So sources of data generation, from where you are going to get the data from: social media, sensors, cell phones, GPS, purchases, World Wide Web, emails, media streaming, healthcare, IoT. Social data, machine data, and transactional data are sources of data. So from big data, like you're going to get the data from Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube, all these things. Types: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So unstructured examples like text files and documents, I can say server, website and application logs, sensor data, images, video files, audio files, emails, social media data. So you are going to get the data from different sources like databases, data warehouse, from audios, Excel files, CSV files, and you are going to store it one place. Later, using processing tools, you are going to process the data, and another processed results, you can perform some kind of analysis and generate reports. Data types like structured, unstructured data, geographic data, real-time data means real-time data, or if I can say like streaming data. Streaming data means the data which keeps on generating. Such kind of data we call it as streaming, which keeps on generating. Natural language data, time series data or event data, network data, link data, any kind of data. Generally, if you take databases, they can handle only structured data, which is in the form of rows and columns only, but Hadoop can handle all varieties of data: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. But today, if you see, most of the data whatever generating is occupying like unstructured format. So we need to, so that is what Hadoop meant for. It can handle all varieties of data: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. So like big data characteristics, mainly we say like 3 V's, but the 6 V's of big data. 6 V's means volume, variety, velocity, veracity, value, and variability. One second. So like 6: volume, variety, velocity, veracity. Okay. Like mainly we say 3 V's: volume, from where you are going to get the data, the amount of data from different sources, And types of data, like what variety means, varieties of data: structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Velocity means the data, the speed at which the big data is generated, the data is getting generated. Okay, like mainly like volume, variety, and velocity. Like I'll come back to where what is veracity, value, and variability. The degree of data, the degree of which big data can be trusted. What is the value of the data? What is the value? It is a sensitive data or insensitive data. If it is sensitive data like banking data or other data, so how can we find some kind of replications if there is a data loss? And variability, which the data can be used and formatted. So this characteristics mainly like volume, what is the volume of the data, where it is different types of data, and the data generating at what speed. So if we can see this, volume means data is at rest, static data. Velocity, data is in motion, which keeps on generating. Variety, different forms: structured, unstructured, semi-structured. Veracity or value, if we can say, data in doubt or data in limbo, data which is uncertain. This kind of. So what is your big data challenge? It should handle any type of data which is static data, which is dynamic, which keeps on generating real-time data, with data which is in different forms: structured, unstructured, semi-structured. So today, like whatever kind of data generated in whatever format it is, need to be stored and handled. So for that, we have got some big data tools available. For big data tools like mainly Hadoop for data storage and processing, and NoSQL databases, schema-less behavior. Spark, real-time processing, in-memory computation. We say data gets stored within the memory and data gets processed within the memory. Both storage and processing both happens within this memory level. That's why we call it as in-memory computation. Data generating at one end and data processing happening at the other end. Real-time processing. Messaging system like Kafka. So establishing communication between different distributed applications which are developed in different technologies. Data warehouse like Hive, it's a component of Hadoop Hive, where you can perform some kind of querying. It's a kind of data warehouse kind of environment. Like we use a language like HQL, Hive query language, and for data analysis, Tableau. Fine. So why Hadoop? Hadoop is meant for two things. One second, for storage and for processing. And okay, there are some drawbacks of databases. Because of that reason, Hadoop is not using any databases for storing its data. So coming back to this advantages. Okay, one second. Hadoop advantages. First one, unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. So before I go with Hadoop advantages, so let me show you, just we can enumerate all these advantages based on this Hadoop architecture. So let me just not like I'll give an overview of this Hadoop architecture. So Hadoop doesn't follow client server architecture. Hadoop follows master slave architecture. It is going to follow master slave architecture. Master slave means single master, multiple slaves. This is what the Hadoop architecture is going to follow. Single master and multiple slaves. S1, S2, so on, Sn. These are what? This is master. These are slaves. Master node, slave node. This entire thing we are going to say it as a cluster. What is a cluster? Group of CPUs. Group of CPUs means nodes connected in a network. That is nothing but a cluster. We have got two types of node: master node slave node. In networking terminology, we say master and node, but master node we call it as name node. Slave node as data node. So data node, why we call it as data nodes? Slave nodes we call it as data nodes because in Hadoop, data is stored within the slaves and data is processed within the slaves. A small example. In Hadoop, data is stored in the form of files, f1.txt. Think it is like 5 TB. The file size is 5 TB. Think that each slave means each CPU capacity is 1 TB. You can store only 1 TB. 1 TB. Hard disk capacity is 1 TB. So this 5 TB, can it fit into any of the slave machines? Try to answer. This 5 TB file, can it fit into any of the slaves? I'm saying like data stored within the slave nodes, data nodes.
Oh, no.
So here what happening internally? This whatever this file f1.txt file of 5 TB, it is going to be divided into smaller chunks. We call it as blocks into equal volumes. It is divided into multiple parts. Each part is going to be stored across multiple slaves. Each part is going to be distributed across multiple slaves. Means multiple slaves are storing the data of a single file. Means data, Hadoop data is going to be distributed across multiple slaves and multiple slaves processing the data parallelly. So two things we are going to achieve here. Huge data storage because of data getting stored across multiple slaves and multiple slaves processing the data, processing a single file simultaneously. So like work done by a single person, work done by multiple persons, huge difference in the speed. In the same manner, work done by single system or work done by multiple systems, huge difference in the speed. So that's why we say Hadoop distributed file system, where Hadoop data is split into smaller parts, these equal volumes, like we call it as blocks. They are going to get distributed across multiple slaves and are processed parallelly. For example, 10 lakh records in this, 10 lakh records in this, 10 lakh records. Means each slave or each system processing 10 lakh records. Each system processing 10 lakh records parallelly, storing 10 lakh and processing 10 lakh. Means that's the reason we call it as data node, storage and processing happening within this. If everything done by the data node or slave nodes, what master node does? What is that master node responsibilities? Master node responsibilities option. First one, task assignment. Task assignment means T1 task to this, T2 task to this, T3 task to this. T1 task, T2 task, T3 task. Task assignment. Master node assigns tasks to the slaves. Load balancing. Load balancing means what about tasks assigned to the slaves to be assigned equally, to not burden any particular slave. Fault tolerance. Fault tolerance means, observe this. When 3 tasks are executed by 3 slaves parallelly, during this processing, if any slave goes down, if any one slave goes down, then the data is lost. So while processing the 3 tasks by the 3 slaves, if any one particular slave goes down, not working, then the task of that slave, need to be assigned to any of the other slave. Okay, then the task of that slave can be assigned to any of the other slave. So while executing multiple tasks by multiple slaves, if any slave goes down, then the task of that slave need to be assigned to any of the other slave. This process we call it as fault tolerance mechanism. Master node takes care of this. These are master node responsibilities. Slave node or data node responsibilities to storing data and processing data. Storing data and processing data. Yes. So 9. Coming to this advantages of Hadoop, unlimited data storage because of a feature we put unlimited data storage because of a feature, horizontally unlimited scalability, horizontally unlimited scalability. So why Hadoop is able to store huge data means horizontally unlimited scalability. What do you mean by horizontally unlimited scalability? Or what do you mean by horizontally unlimited scalability? Means scalability means adding, means horizontally unlimited number of slaves you can keep on adding. If your data increasing, your slaves also will be increasing. Means horizontally you can keep on increase the number of slaves. There is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have. For example, if you are running a business, a small business with 10 slaves, tomorrow your business has increased, data is increased, customers have increased, then you cannot go with the same number of slaves. If your branches increased, your customers increased, data increased, your slaves also need to be increased. Customers increased by 100 times, data increased by 1000 times, you cannot go with the same number of slaves. So that is what scalability. And one more advantage, Hadoop advantage, very high speed processing, very high speed processing because of parallel processing. Because of parallel processing means data is distributed across the slaves and processed by multiple slaves parallelly. Because of parallel processing, you can see this very high speed for Hadoop. So if I discuss between non-parallel and parallel, if I discuss between non-parallel and parallel processing, observe this difference. A labor example I give, one person preparing one item taking 1 minute. Same that single person preparing 10 items takes 10 minutes. One person preparing 100 items taking 100 minutes. The same one person preparing 1000 items takes 1000 minutes. But if I give this parallel processing means one item 1 minute only, 10 items 1 minute only. So means 10 persons preparing 10 items parallelly, 100 items prepared by 100 persons, 1 minute it takes. Here also 1 minute. Parallel, here I have said people, in our terminology systems. One system or 10 systems, 100 systems running parallel. So that's what, because of parallel processing, very high speed. And the other advantages like can handle all varieties of data, can handle all varieties of data, can handle all varieties of data like structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. And it is an open source, no licensing required. It's an open source, no licensing required. Most of the Hadoop products are from Apache. From the Apache Mirrors website, you can download that Hadoop components and install those things. Okay, Hadoop, these are what Hadoop advantages. So like Hadoop is proven in the market and storage point of view, processing point of view, if we observe this. Why databases like Oracle cannot handle or unlimited data means, for in the real time for databases like Oracle also we can go with multiple slaves, but there is a limit on the number of slaves. For Oracle it can go max with 256 slaves for storing its data. MySQL can go with 54 slaves, but MySQL Express can go with 256 slaves. DB2 with 256 CPUs or slaves. SQL Server with 256. But if I take examples of specialized databases, Teradata can go with 512 slaves. Netezza can go with 512. Vertica can go with 512 slaves. Means 1024 slaves supported. Currently, 1024 slaves are supported for Teradata. And even for Netezza, 1024 slaves are supported currently. But none of these databases or specialized databases can handle unlimited data. Even though if like 256 slaves or 1024 slaves, it's not limited, it's unlimited. So like this is none of the databases, specialized databases, they're not supporting unlimited data storage. But Hadoop, there is no limit on the number of slaves. There is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have. So horizontally unlimited scalability, can keep on adding that. So for example, Hadoop is proven in the market. Yahoo, when first time implemented Hadoop, went with 4,000 slaves for storing its data. But Yahoo currently going with 12,000 slaves for storing its data. Facebook, when first time implemented Hadoop, went with 8,000 slaves. Now Facebook currently running with 36,000 slaves for storing its data. So Hadoop is proven in the market. So as compared with other things, so you can go with unlimited number of slaves, horizontally unlimited scalability. And processing point of view also, Hadoop is proven in the market processing point of view. For example, Yahoo has conducted a test to check the speed of various databases in the market. So Yahoo has taken a table of 100 TB consisting of 1024 columns. And what is the task? Sorting based on 16 columns. So what is the time taken by the various databases? Oracle, it has taken nearly 3.5 days to process it. MySQL, it has taken nearly 6 days. And Teradata, it has just taken 4.5 hours. Netezza, 3 hours. Finally, Hadoop has just taken 3.4 minutes. That is what that speed of Hadoop as compared to other things. Like Oracle, see that they are taking days of times, Teradata taking hours, but Hadoop taking in minutes. Latest version of Hadoop taking just 1.2 minutes. That is what Hadoop Hadoop is proven in the market, storage point of view and processing point of view. That's why today Hadoop has got a great boom in the market because of its storage and processing. Like projects wherever it's like data warehouse kinds of project, ETL kinds of projects, mostly migrating to Hadoop. And Hadoop can handle all varieties of data.
Yes.
And the last one is open source, cost cutting, no licensing is required. And one second, let me explain this. Just 2 more minutes I take. So Hadoop ecosystem tools. So for storing data, HDFS is used. For processing, MapReduce, Pig, Hive, Spark. So for storing the data and processing the data, Hadoop has got some tools, ecosystem tools, like HDFS for storage, MapReduce, Pig, Hive for processing, even Spark also for processing. Scoop, SQOOP, SQL, first 2 characters of SQL, last 3 characters of Hadoop, combined together Scoop, import or export operations for importing data from database to Hadoop. exporting data from Hadoop to databases. NoSQL, just now I was saying like NoSQL, not only SQL. So we have got many NoSQL databases in the market, like HBase, Cassandra, MongoDB, CouchDB, Riak, Peanut, Neo4j, most famous NoSQL databases. And as part of our course, I'm going to discuss HBase is a NoSQL database, which is especially designed for Hadoop environment. But the other NoSQL database like Cassandra, MongoDB, all those they are for open applications, not only for Hadoop, for other applications. Yarn, yet another resource negotiator. From the latest version of Hadoop, we got some architectural changes. Flume Kafka for advanced streaming and advanced streaming. Spark and Zookeeper. And Hadoop trends and job market. So again, once again, I'll just brief you about this ecosystem tool separately. Hadoop trends and job market. See that how this Hadoop from the last 2017 to 2022. So in 2017, $17 million. See here, size of Hadoop and big data market in billion US dollars. 2017, 17 US billion dollars. 2018, 24 billion US dollars. 2019, it reached 34. 2020, it reached nearly 50. 2021, it reaches 70. 2022, sorry, it reaches 100. Means what is the scope of Hadoop currently and in the future? How it is going to increase or decrease? So as today, like everywhere, huge data is getting generated, and storing that and processing that. We have got like tools like big data. So we have got like big data tools are available which can store and process it. Projects are getting migrated to Hadoop environment. There is a great boom. Check it. So this is not only this, like global Hadoop market from 2012. See this, you can see like graph, increasing graph. Hadoop market from 2012 to 2020-21. And salary package for Hadoop also salary as compared with other technologies. This orange color is Hadoop, remaining all are other technologies. So like for Hadoop, you can get 1.5 times more than other technologies. The salary package for Hadoop will be 1.5 times more than other technologies. In some cases, even you can ask for 100% high, provided that you need to have the technical skills. So highly paid. What are the highly paying analytical skills? Like MapReduce, highly paid. Pig also highly paid. Next comes machine learning. Next comes Hive. Next comes Hadoop big data. So this is MapReduce, Pig. All these are components of. So that is what as part of the demo. Hope you understood what is big data, how the data is getting generated. So why Hadoop required? Already we have got many technologies in the market. And advantage of Hadoop, like overview of Hadoop architecture, I said, like advantages and Hadoop, how it was proven in the market, storage and processing of, and today like where Hadoop is used, and the trends. So if you've got any queries, you can go ahead. And that prerequisites mostly like this, everything which goes in that Linux environment. Everything goes in the Linux environment, even if it doesn't have knowledge on Linux. Like 2 to 3 days, I'll just be discussing about the basic Linux commands, not like for understanding HDFS commands, this Linux LFS commands. Anyhow, I'm going to discuss that even if it doesn't have knowledge. And basic SQL knowledge is required. SQL. Generally, Hadoop doesn't use any database for storing its data. No need of it. But there are some cases sometimes we are importing data or
Basically,
exporting data.
basics means like create, update, delete. That is sufficient, or we need to know about the outer join and then advanced part is not that, like cluster, indexes, views, triggers.
Basic knowledge is enough, but during the course we'll be learning the other things, all that other. Fine.
Okay, okay.
We'll be discussing with multiple examples. I'll be covering, okay, so that you
Because
can
I know
understand.
about the basic thing means create, update, delete, and all. Only that.
Even like basics of Linux, or even if it doesn't know SQL, basics of SQL, even if it doesn't have knowledge in SQL, for first 1 or 2 days, I'll just discuss before I start with the practicals.
Okay.
Mainly like this LFS, local file system, like Linux, these two things mainly required. Previously, like now, if you take example of there were some components like Pig Latin language, we use simple scripting language. For Hive, for Pig Latin is used, for Hive HQL is used, Hive query language similar to like SQL, and for Spark we have got Scala language. Anyhow, it's new to everyone. I'll be discussing that even. Fine. Mm, yeah, yeah. Still, any other queries? You can go with your queries anyway.
Hi Vijay.
Yeah,
Yeah, am I
yeah. Go ahead.
audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. There is a session going at 9:30 also in the evening, night 9:30.
Night
Hello.
9:30. No.
Yeah. From another tutor.
I don't know about that. You can just talk
Oh.
to that. I don't have the idea about the timing. Okay.
Hmm.
Other tutor, I don't know.
Because
Like, oh, yeah.
I want to know what is the difference between these two trainings. The one which you are going to teach and the one which will start at 9:30.
You already attended.
So that if
No. Actually, okay. I don't know about that, but I'm starting a new batch it's at same time at 8:30. So where I'll be dealing in brief about all this big data and Hadoop, all these components. So like you are
okay.
going to get command on this entire big data and this Hadoop. Fine. It's like from this ground level, from the scratch onwards, I'll be discussing with multiple code examples.
And
Fine.
if you can just differentiate what is a syllabus difference between the batch that is going to start at night 9:30 and the one which you are tutoring now, it will be helpful for us. And one more query is regarding I recently saw one of our clients moving to cloud, and if earlier they were using Hadoop and now they are migrating their data to cloud. So how we are going to use this Hadoop in cloud? I'm just a newbie. I don't know regarding much about that.
So
That is my second query.
no. What I suggest to people is like currently in the current and in the current industry, like with a single technology, you are not able to run the show. Like today, like you got AWS, Amazon Web Services. Okay, you need to get updated with those kind of technology. Big data is one. Amazon AWS is one. Means today, tomorrow, like everything moving towards the cloud side. So that is also required. You need to have the knowledge about those. And like NoSQL database. Anyhow, I'm going to cover that NoSQL database currently as part of the course like HBase. And streaming technologies like Flume, Kafka, I'm going to discuss. Means live streaming data. Like if you want to capture and just capturing the data and storing and just processing such kind of data also. That's what you require those knowledge. So, but as part of the course, I've clearly said what I'm going to cover, the components, nearly 10 to 12 components I'm going to discuss. 10 components I'm going to discuss in depth, like one storage component, like HDFS, and processing components like MapReduce, Pig, Hive. MapReduce, Pig, Hive. 3 processing components I'm going to discuss, and one NoSQL database, and 2 streaming components I'm going to discuss. Fine. That's what, and that too in brief. Okay. Uh, yeah. Any other queries?
Yes, I have query. Whatever you taught, okay, in
9:30.
coming session.
Yeah, 1 second. That 9:30, I doesn't know like the
No.
other tutor.
I'm not asking about that, sir. Okay.
Okay, fine.
So whatever you are going to taught, so we have the hands-on on that. Means we can practice from our side also, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's practical, or it's not a theoretical course. Like everything is
No,
practicals.
I mean, whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah,
software they have in Hadoop ecosystem, so we can install and we can do the practice.
yeah.
I
You can
see.
do, you can practice it. Yes, I'll be
Oh,
providing all those, and I'll be demonstrating those. I'll be providing and I'll be demonstrating, and
okay,
every time. And what I suggest to people is for the better understanding. Everyday practicals you need to complete the day itself.
okay,
One
okay.
second. Just yeah, fine. So what I would suggest you, like for the better understanding of the subject, and I want you people to respond in the sessions. So the response you can get only when you are practicing every day whatever we are seeing. If you are able to practice that day itself, the next day in the session you can be responding. Why? Because it's not like I want, it's both the side. I want interaction. It's not me just speaking for 1 hour and just going off. I want response from you. Whatever I will be typing and showing you, just like not like bringing some pre-written code and just showing you that line by line explanation I'm going to provide you, so that for each and every line I type, you need to give the response, what it is, what is the output you are as a Hadoop developer. Also, just you need to know what output you are going to get for this particular statement. If you're performing any operation, you need to know what is the output you are going to get. So like most of the time it's like a kind of data flow. Data flow means the output of this will be the input to the next flow. So that's why you should know what output you are going to get and what input I'm going to give that to the next flow. That's what the training level will be. Fine.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
I have one question.
Yeah,
What would
go
be the
ahead.
duration of this course, sir? So Hadoop?
Yeah, duration will be like 45 days. So like I'm not going to extend more than that, but I'll be covering a lot of things. Uh, some bigger sessions I'll be taking like 2 hours or 3 hours on like weekends, if everyone fine with the timings, whatever I say. If everyone, I'll be just intimating the before day so that everyone finds, so that bigger sessions. Why? Because if you want to cover more number of code examples, I will need to spend time for that. Between yeah, 40-45 days, but within this 40-45 days I'm going to cover 60 hours, totally like 60 hours required, but within this 40 within maximum 40 to 45 days I'll be taking those many hours, like somewhere in the weekends I'll be taking some bigger sessions. Fine. And clear notes will be provided for that. Okay, even whatever practicals I do, I can just copy that into a separate word file, and I'll be forwarding those things to you with neat comments. For line by line comments you can see. Okay, you'll be getting the notes to your mail IDs every day, daily basis.
The recording also, sir.
Hello, about that recording. Okay, recording also. Recording you need to
Happens.
talk with that front office.
Okay,
And
okay,
just
sure.
about that recording. Okay, notes I'll be providing, and this entire recording, everything they are taking care by that. So whenever you can just talk with. Yeah, recording also you are going to get.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So even if you are missing any session, you can just go to the recording and you can attend the session, like for the button. Yeah, any other queries? Yeah, so like that timing will be the same timing as of now. It's the same timing, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. So from tomorrow, just I'll be discussing with this. I'll be just entering in the tomorrow session. Just okay, like I'll be going with that components, and how exactly data stored and how exactly data processed within the Hadoop, and why Hadoop only can perform this huge storage and processing, why not the other technologies, and entering into that technicals of this Hadoop. Yeah, fine. So if I'm done with your queries, if there are no other queries, then I'll sign off for today. So meet you tomorrow. Fine. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, go
Vijay
ahead.
sir. Vijay
Yeah.
sir, actually, is there any chance will you start that Spark and Scala classes as well in future, sir?
Yeah, I'll be starting it. Even most of the students were asking of this
Mhm.
batch or the previous batches. They
Mhm.
were asking about Spark with Scala also. Just after, yeah, within a like 10 days or 2 weeks of time. By the time at least some 20 or 30%. Yeah, Spark and Scala also you can just, if you want, you can go with parallelly with this.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay. So, okay. I'm just signing off for today. So meet you tomorrow with that. So thank you for your time for attending this demo. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Fine.